Hi, and welcome to our audiobook series brought to you by Burgapoly Publishing. Let the journey begin. Today we are presenting
Chapter 18, First Encounter, The Fire Alarm. It ripped through the silence, a shrill, piercing cry that shattered sleep. John's eyes flew open. Instinct replaced exhaustion. He was dressed in seconds. Across the room, Tom groaned, burying his face under a pillow. "Now what?" he muttered. John strode over, poking him hard. "Come on, get up." Tom peeled the pillow away, half-conscious. "What's going on?" John yanked the door open a crack, peering into the hall. "I don't know, but we need to check it out and make sure the girls are okay." "It's probably just a false alarm," Tom shouted as he rolled out of bed, grabbing his clothes. John watched in disbelief as Tom headed for the bathroom. "What are you doing?" Tom yawned mid-step. "Hey, I gotta go." The bathroom door clicked shut. John exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. The alarm's relentless wail pressed into his skull, turning thought into static. "Well, hurry up." Tom didn't respond. John stepped into the hallway, scanning. A few people passed by, their expressions ranging from half-asleep confusion to mild irritation. No one looked panicked. No smoke. No heat. Tom finally emerged, tugging his shirt into place. "Okay, I'm ready. Do you see anything?" John shook his head. "I have only seen a couple of people and no smoke. Let's check on the girls." As they started walking, Scott's door swung open. His expression was a mix of exhaustion and frustration. "Hey, what's going on?" Tom threw his arms up. "That blasted fire alarm won't quit ringing." "We're checking on the girls," John added. As they moved toward the stairwell, two guys walked past in the opposite direction. "Hey, the elevators are down. You'll have to take the stairs," one of them called over his shoulder. John nodded. "Got it, thanks." One of the guys paused, glancing back at their lost expressions. He motioned toward a door. "This way." John gave a quick nod. "Appreciate it." They stepped into the stairwell, the echoes of hurried footsteps reverberating off the walls. The other students went down. They went up. By the time they reached the third floor, the alarm was a physical thing, pounding in their ears. As they stepped into the hallway, they spotted Chi and Valerie walking toward them. Chi's voice rose above the sound. "I don't smell smoke. Why is this thing still going?" Tom let out a long groan. "No idea, but it's driving me insane. Let's get out of here." They turned back, descending the stairs together. The lobby was crowded, students milled about in groups, their faces a mixture of concern, curiosity, and mild annoyance. The glass doors led to the outside, where the first light of dawn painted the sky in muted hues. As they stepped into the courtyard, Valerie turned to John. "What now?" Tom stretched, glancing at the still blaring building. "Guess we wait until someone shuts that thing off." John scanned the structure, his eyes narrowed. "I don't see smoke. No obvious fire." Still, something felt off. They stood there, shifting their weight as the morning wind rolled in. A faint mist from a nearby fountain carried in the breeze, cool against their skin. Then slowly they moved toward the larger crowd gathered near the other dorm. The weight of uncertainty hung thick in the air. Valerie's voice cut through the morning stillness, now heavy with unease. "What's going on over there?" She pointed across the landscaped grounds, her expression shifting from confusion to alarm. They turned, and the world erupted. Screams pierced the air. People ran in panic, their movements erratic, wild, survival distilled into pure instinct. And behind them, the machines. Metallic constructs gliding just above the earth, moving with cold, relentless precision. Bursts of searing light exploded from their frames, streaking through the air. The ground shuddered under the impact. The unlucky fell where they stood. Some were hit directly, their bodies crumpled, lifeless and smoking before they touched the ground. The flashes revealed the aftermath. Bodies scattered, motionless in the grass. Tom's breath hitched. His voice was barely above a whisper. "What are those things?" Scott's eyes were locked onto them, his expression dark, calculating. "Attack drones. Likely part of the invasion we were warned about." A moment stretched between them, sharp and unbearable. The chaos fractured as people scattered. Some ran toward the dorms, desperate for shelter. Others sprinted for the tree line, hoping for cover. And the machines, they adjusted. Some split away from their group, their cold targeting systems shifting focus. They were coming. John's voice cut through the terror. They're coming this way! We need to move! Chi's breath came fast, panic creeping into her voice. Which way? Where do we go? John's mind moved faster than his fear. This way! He took off, leading them toward the far side of the fountain. The stone structure loomed between them and the attackers, its bulk hopefully enough to disrupt their line of sight. The others followed without hesitation. They sprinted across the grass, their footsteps barely audible over the chaos behind them. The tree line rushed closer. The woods swallowed them whole, the canopy weaving them into the shadows. They were inside. They followed a narrow stone path, breath ragged, legs burning, but never stopping. Ahead, a clearing. Structures rose at its edges, maintenance buildings, storage sheds, equipment half forgotten in the urgency of war. John's eyes scanned the area and landed on hope. A garage door stood open. Inside, a shuttle. Over here, he shouted. They rushed toward it, their feet pounding against concrete and dirt. Tom skidded to a stop beside him, eyes wide. That could be our way out of here. John's breath steadied, but his hands curled into fists. Then let's move, John muttered as he threw open the driver's side door. Everyone in. The others scrambled inside, their breath still uneven, bodies tight with adrenaline. As they settled into place, John focused on the controls. Every second mattered. They heard distant explosions from the campus. The war was catching up to them. Chi leaned forward beside him, her voice level but urgent. Someone already set it to ground mode. Just push this button to start it. Once you... John got out of the seat, abruptly, without hesitation. Here, you drive. Chi blinked once, then slid into the seat without question. John ran around to the passenger side, settling in next to her. Chi's hands moved quickly, instinctively. Switches flipped. Systems came to life. Then, stillness. John noticed, his brow furrowed. Something was wrong. Why aren't you moving? His voice was sharp, questioning. Chi didn't answer. John leaned closer, trying to catch her expression. A man dressed in khaki had a blaster pressed against Chi's head. Her hands were motionless on the controls, her eyes locked forward. The man's voice was calm, too calm. Okay, sweetheart, step out of the seat. Slowly. His eyes scanned the rest of them. That goes for all of you. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I won't hesitate. The weight of the blaster dictated their movements. They filed out of the shuttle, their feet hitting the cold cement floor. The man stepped back, motioning with his weapon. Against the wall, now! John kept his hands open, his voice controlled. We were just trying to escape. There's fighting back at the school. The man snorted. Yeah, I know. He took one step toward the shuttle, never lowering the weapon. Those things shot at me, forced me to land. His eyes flickered with something close to fatigue, calculation. Same idea as you. Find a ride and get out of here. Valerie stepped forward, her voice nearly breaking. Then take us with you. A pause, a shift, a moment where hope lived. Then he crushed it. Nope. He turned, stepping inside. John felt the air change. The decision had been made. At least get us out of here, Tom shouted, desperation slipping through his words. The man paused briefly in the doorway. Then, without looking back, no, I have somewhere to be. I can't risk you kids slowing me down. The door slammed shut and the engine came alive. The shuttle lifted, its frame shuddering as it reversed out of the garage. John ran after it. So did the others. Their fists pounded against the hull, their voices rising, breaking. The man never looked down, never hesitated. The shuttle cleared the building. It rose and disappeared out of sight. They stood there, breathless, watching until it vanished. The weight of abandonment settled over them like a stone. John's foot connected with the metal wall, sending a sharp clang echoing through the air. Can you believe that? His voice was thick with frustration, disbelief still clinging to his words. The reality of abandonment hung over them like a stone. There was a spark of hope when Scott's voice broke the tension. Wait, there was another shuttle in the building. Their heads snapped toward him. They ran back inside, their breath uneven, their hearts grasping at the possibility. The shuttle sat in the dim light, a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Tom's shoulders slumped in defeat upon closer inspection. This won't be taking us anywhere. The hood gaped open, and its insides were a tangle of disconnected wires. John exhaled sharply, his fingers curling into fists. It must be in for repairs. He grabbed a tool from the nearby bench, stared at it for half a second, and then threw it across the room. It clattered against metal, the sound hollow. Empty, final. Tom turned, arms crossed. Now what? John's mind refused to settle. We checked the other building. No one argued.
Thanks for listening to another chapter of Into the 6th Millennium, The Invasion of Zephro. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future audiobooks. You'll find links below to get the book, explore more titles from the series, and grab official merch. We've also included some affiliate links to the tools we use to bring this project to life.